No, I can't because I didn't bring lighting. Hello， 大家好，我是乐乐法力。今天呢，我邀请了我的爸爸来上我的直播节目呢，而且我提前准备很多问题，大多数的问题都是围绕着中国或者台湾，他两个国家都有去过。对，没错，我就说了国家，又怎么了 ？OK， 我们这个废话不多说，我们就直接开始今天晚上的直播。今天晚上的直播 ，I gotta say one thing real quick。今天晚上的直播虽然是以英文为进行的，但是今天晚上的直播结束之后。明天后天我都会从今天晚上的直播剪出一些最精彩的一些片段，然后我会印上中文的字幕，所以英文不太骨折的朋友们，你们放心，我会照顾好你们。OK， 我永远不会忘记你们。All right, look at this. Here we are. How does it feel to be in my stream, Dad?
I'm so excited.
Yes, it's not the first time you've been in my stream.
Oh yeah.
You were in the stream last time. Do you remember when it was?
No idea.
It was the last election.
The music one?
It was the last election, actually, I think, right? We were talking about, I don't even remember who. I think we were talking about Biden, and I think at the time we were not very happy with Biden's charm, his personal charm.
Or lack thereof.
Yeah, or lack thereof. But what can you do? All right, the first question that I prepared for you today, Dad, is do you who do you yeah, you got to make sure you speak into that. It's really important. You just have to have that right there. So who do you think rocks it better, the curls? Me or you?
Oh, hold on.
Who do you think rocks it better? In their heyday.
In their heyday, I had nothing but curly cues all over. I had the best afro you've ever seen.
I think I actually have an afro.
You do right now.
Right.
So you got any bugs up there?
Yeah, there was a bug down here, by the way. So you're looking in here, this camera right here, when we speak that, by the way, and that'll be much better. You also have a Taylor Swift shirt on. You a big fan of Taylor Swift?
Hell no, my daughter. So she went all the way to Munich to watch Taylor Swift.
How could you not be a fan of Taylor Swift?
I think the lady is a great entrepreneur.
Yes.
A very smart lady, and I give her kudos all the way across the board.
All right. Taylor Swift also, you know, when people were getting on her for some drama and shit, she turned it into the best song I've ever heard, which is Shake It Off.
Shake it off. Shake it off.
That's a good song, man. That's a good song. One guy asked, did you watch the Eras tour? Did you watch the Eras tour?
Did I?
You don't even know what the Eras tour
is?
It's
right
and it's
here.
on your fucking
It's
shirt,
on my
bro.
Eras was on my belly button right now.
没有关系啊，我知道你们听不懂英语，但是放心，我们这个直播结束之后，我会印上中文字幕，相信我。Okay, people are like, whoa, bro, I don't understand English. What's going on here? It's okay. I got their backs. 而且我没有带上任何的那个灯泡，所以我只能用一些那个，我只能凑合一下，希望大家能谅解。All right, so I have a bunch of questions here, Dad. We're going to get into them right now.
Can I try my Mandarin first?
Yeah, let's hear some of your Mandarin.
谢谢.
Okay, that's much better than what you usually say.
你好.
Yeah?
太贵了.
Try it again. Let's hear it again.
太贵了? Too much? Too expensive?
Yeah, but you got to say it. It's 太贵了.
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 He's got you. Shay Shay.
谢谢.
Shay Shay. What else you got?
That's it, man. That's it.
Yeah, I don't think I even tried to teach you more while we were in Taiwan.
No, you didn't.
Yeah. All right. Before we get into Taiwan, though, we have to ask questions that I've received from members and patrons. So key supporters to this channel. Thank you guys very much for your support. Which is, what were your thoughts as a father when your 15-year-old son wanted to go to China, sending him to China over that summer?
Well, I've always thought the best way to learn is to travel.
Yes.
And wherever you go, you absorb and you learn and you listen, and it's a great experience. And I was excited that you went to China. No, because I've been to China many, many times. And at that time, I thought China was the safest place to go, to be honest with you. It was a safe place to go.
Yeah.
And it was an exciting place. It was like the Wild, Wild West. Anything was possible. So I was excited for you to get over there and experience it firsthand.
You're speaking here, by the way. All right. We want to make sure the eye line's good because I'm going to put this into a major video, okay? So the real question is, though, if your son is doing that, you're just not concerned about the safety factor there.
No.
Because at the time, it's just like, China's the future. Like, let's put you on there or whatever, right?
No, God, no. I mean, I lived in New York City. New York City was more dangerous than China, that's for sure.
When were you in New York City, though?
I was in New York for many, many years, young, and I had a good time in New York. I'll just leave it at that. I'll get myself in trouble with my wife. But
Yeah, she's not gonna watch this stream. Don't worry.
Please don't.
All right. So, what do you think at the time of the prospects of your son studying in China? It's not even just when I was 15, but when I was 19 and basically every summer in between, and then when I was most of my 20s in China. What was your thoughts during this time?
My thought was, do it right or don't do it at all. And
Okay.
you did it right. You went into it all out. And and then the other thing about it is you learn so much when you live there.
Right.
And Alice, you lived there for quite a long time, and you traveled that entire countryside. So you did absorb the culture. You absorbed the language, obviously, a very difficult language. And at the time, everybody talked about, boy, if you know Chinese, you go over there, blah, 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 you can make $1 million. You could be very
Right.
successful. And everyone was excited by the idea of my son learning Chinese.
So what happened? What happened? Why aren't people excited anymore about this prospect?
Now they say, are you sure you want to go to China? It's dangerous. It's different. I find it depressing. I find it very sad because I loved it when I went over there. Because every time I went over there, it had changed, and it was evolving, and it was moving forward, and it was just an exciting place to be. I don't think that's the case anymore.
Yeah. So what do you think strips away from that excitement? What are those insidious things that are stripping away from that excitement, that energy?
Well, I've been in corporate America as long as I did. Leadership is so important. You look at successful companies and you say, wow, he or she at the top is the reason they're successful. And you say, well, these corporate executives get paid too much. No, they don't really, because they're the ones that take the company to the next level. Same thing's true with politics. I mean, I can go back in America, and we had great leaders, and we had shitty leaders. And China right now, my personal opinion, is going through a poor leadership stage, a very poor leadership stage.
What's his name?
Xi.
Oh, you got it. See, a lot of
Xi.
people can't say it. A lot of people can't say it.
Yeah.
Xi Jinping.
And what was his name before him? I loved. I respected the heck
Well,
out
the
of
guy
Deng,
that you
Deng,
liked the most was, Deng.
Deng,
Deng Xiaoping.
Deng,
Deng
Deng. I
Xiaoping.
love Deng.
Yeah, Mr. Deng.
He did a hell of a job.
Well,
Hell
he
of
did a
job.
lot of things that people didn't have the balls to do. Mm-hmm. Right. And the unfortunate truth is, right before Xi Jinping came to power, you had Li Keqiang, who was the premier that I always told you about. Remember,
you told me about
we
that.
have it on the wall over there. I'm in a cheerleader attire.
Yes.
And I'm cheering for, go Lee, you're so fine, you blow my line. Hey, Lee. Hey, Lee.
I remember, yes, you always talked about Lee.
Because he had a PhD in economics, right? The guy was what you had in between. The unfortunate truth with an authoritarian regime is eventually you're going to get a moron.
Well, you're going to get Venezuela or something like that. Is what
So
you're
when
gonna
you
do.
get a moron, what do? When you don't have a democratic system, you can't get him out.
Well,
Right?
especially if you're for life.
Right.
No, we voted him in for life.
Right.
I'm worried about Trump doing the same thing if he gets
When
elected.
Trump was asked
Yeah.
about that by the reporter, you know what he said? President for life?
Sounds good to me.
We should try that here.
Jesus
We should
Christmas.
try that here. It's like, what else do you need to hear from this guy?
Yeah.
All right, so we have some more interesting stuff. So if anybody is interested in my dad's take on what China was and what it's become, we have a video of that we can link into the comment section when this is done, because we've talked about this before. So in order to not sound like we're talking about the same old shit, let's get into the topic of this video. So you can't understand what the thumbnail is for this video, Dad, but it said, my dad liked Taiwan, but ...
Oh, you want me to answer that?
No, but first of all, how much of a douchebag thumbnail is that?
That's a pretty big douchebag.
Come on, that's fucking awful. But we had to do it. We had to do it. All right, but before we get into what you may have not liked, we have to get into what your expectation was heading into Taiwan this time. What was your expectation?
Well, I had been to Taiwan once a long, long, long time ago.
Where'd you go?
I went to Taipei. That's pretty much it. I was there for about 3 or 4 days, and that's when I was the head of Bombay Company. We had a lot of good sourcing in Taiwan, but that was it. That was a long time ago. So going in, I had no idea how much it changed. Mm-hmm. And it's a metropolitan, booming democracy.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. I mean, we were there with all the debates going on and the rallies for the president, for voting for the president. And it was exciting. I thought you feel energy in the country. You feel a lot of energy. And
We were there right before the election.
Right, and that was fun. That was exciting.
Yeah, and you were able to use me as a muse to go through and talk to these people about what their views might be about the local politicians.
Yeah, but most of them didn't want to talk to me. They wanted to talk to you.
Yeah.
They want nothing to do with me.
So, what was that like to be with your son around Taiwan?
I'll be honest with you, I was proud of you. I was. And then, you know, the funniest story is when it was my birthday, and we're there. People were having a great time, and everyone's celebrating Steve's birthday in Taipei. Yeah.
Yes.
And they want to take pictures, and I'm sitting there like, smile like.
We were in a restaurant.
Yeah.
We were in a nice wine restaurant.
Very nice restaurant.
Right.
And they were so polite, but they basically say, "Can you move on to the side so we can take a picture of your son?"
There's so much more to that story. We were in that restaurant drinking some nice alcohol, eating some nice food for an hour and a half. Okay, and by the end of it, it's your birthday, so we have a nice buzz. We got a little bit of a buzz.
We had a mild head buzz.
Okay, and by the end of it, they're like, "Hey guys, thank you so much for everything. Can we please get a picture with you?" And I was like, "Yeah, no problem." And then we were all lined up for the photo, and you were like, "All right, where do I go?" And everyone's looking at you like, "Can you get the fuck out of this?"
They were so polite about it. They were kind of giving me a sign.
Well, luckily, I am not polite about it. And I looked at you and I said, "Who do you think you are?" Get out of here, dude.
The light bulb finally went off and said, "You moron, get out of the picture." So
it was
I moved
funny.
off to
You
the
dealt
side.
with it like a champ. You got out of the way, and we got that picture in.
I was proud of you. The fact they wanted you, I was very proud of you.
Hey, it comes from
Your mother.
Well, it certainly comes from. What do you think it takes to successfully, be a foreign language learner and live in a foreign country and like succeed in that environment? What does it take?
Well, I think what happened to you was, like I said before, living there. And you not only live there. A lot of people they go to Shanghai or they go to Beijing or they go to Hong Kong, and they think that's China. But you went out, and I've been at the hinterlands, but nowhere near where you've been. And you were out really, really experiencing that country, all different accents, all different norms, and it was great for you. And I think you absorbed that like a sponge. And you came back and said, "This is where I love this country." I'll never forget. You said, "I love this country."
Yeah, man. Chinese people, well, they're and the same thing with the Taiwanese people, which you saw in Taiwan, is very warming.
Very
It's
warming.
like just curious nature. Who are you? What are you about? Like, I want to figure out more about you.
And you stand out. I mean, you're 6'3". I'm 6'3". We kind of do stand out.
You're 6'2". Come on.
So you got a freaking afro. That's the only reason you got
Dude,
the extra inch.
with this afro, I'm actually. By the way, everybody, I'm getting a haircut tomorrow.
Good.
But with this afro, I'm probably 6'4", honestly.
Yeah. Anyway, we do stand out.
All right. So there's a really important question here, which is, you've been to China. You've been in China several times.
Oh, dozens of times.
Dozens of times. You've been all around China. You've been to Beijing, Shanghai. You've been to the south. You've been to Hong Kong, right? You've been everywhere.
What's that lake town? The big lake in the middle.
Hangzhou.
Hangzhou. Been there.
Hangzhou.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Can you name the lake?
It was a shithole. No disrespect. I'm sorry. I live on a beautiful lake. That was a shithole. Sorry, guys.
Well, here's the problem. When you go to that lake, everyone hypes it up. They're like,
Oh,
you got to see this lake.
Oh,
you
my
gotta
God.
See this lake.
Again, no disrespect.
Yeah.
It was not good.
Yeah. But that's it was a really nice lake back in the day. When people were writing poetry there during the Tang Dynasty of 8th century A.D. China. It was a great lake.
I believe you.
Right, but once you get all that industry around there, there's not much to look at. It's dirty. Do you see any similarities between China and Taiwan? When you went to Taiwan, were you expecting to see similarities there between Taiwan and China?
Well, when I went years ago, when I went to Taiwan, it was also when all of Asia was booming. I went to Malaysia many times. I went to Vietnam many times, and China. And Taiwan and China were coming close. Feel like they were coming closer together.
Right.
I played softball in China with the Taiwanese manufacturing guys, and it was great. We had a great time.
Wow.
And I'm a good baseball player.
That was long before Xi Jinping came.
Long before, and they were Taiwanese managers who were running the factories.
Right.
And we went out one night. I had because they always do. What's a kung pao when you got to get drunk?
Ganbei.
Oh, Jesus. When you got to drink the vodka. No, Johnny Walker Blue. That's what we always drank.
Johnny Walker Blue. So you were drinking good stuff.
So I said, let's get everybody together, and we got everybody in a hotel room, and all this manufacturing plant manufacturers were there. And they're all Taiwanese, and they got on stage and sang the Taiwanese fight song. And I'm up there trying to sing it with them, and I'm spitting all over myself, making a fool of myself. But they were really friendly. We had the arms around each other, and that was in China.
Yeah,
that was in Guangdong. Is that right?
Guangdong. Yeah, you got it.
And you felt like they were coming together, both of them, because economics were bringing them together.
Right.
And it was actually an exciting thing to see.
And China was China had the soil to do that.
Yeah,
it was soil to create that environment.
And they felt like it was 1 + 1 = 3. And it really was at that time.
Right.
Boy, now it's a different ballgame.
Yeah, can you believe what those the Taiwanese political parties? Because I always say to people, you want to ask me about like different within Taiwan's like domestic policies with the real estate, nuclear energy, and all these other issues. I don't know anything about that. Like I'm really not experiencing that. But if you want to ask my opinion on their China policies, well, I'm an expert on that. And what the KMT likes to do, and they like to say, well, don't you remember how good it was when we had a good relationship with China? And it's like, yeah, but dude, that's assuming that China hasn't changed.
Unfortunately, that's not true. China has changed a lot.
Unfortunately, you're not going to get that team leader there.
But to their point, back then, it was an exciting part. They
100%.
were coming together.
100%.
Too bad.
100%. Too bad. Yeah, too bad. But maybe one day.
Maybe one day.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know.
I think China's only future ahead is breaking up into some type of like EU type thing.
Oh, that's interesting. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, because, in Chinese history, it always goes through periods of uniting and then breaking up, uniting and then breaking up. And I really think that with some of the atrocities and the traumas that people have experienced in Inner Mongolia, in Shanghai, in Hong Kong, in Guangdong, in Xinjiang, in Tibet, I mean, nobody's going to be able to get behind the message of, we're Chinese and I feel proud,
Well, you got an unemployment rate amongst the youth of like 20%.
It's much higher. It's got to be much higher.
Yeah, that's the official number. It's probably a lot higher.
You know how they count that? If you did 1 hour work in a week, you're employed.
You can manipulate numbers a lot of ways, but the bottom line is they got to keep that employment level. Oh, that's going to hurt them.
Yeah, but there's no way you can do that if you don't have a legitimate legal system.
If you don't, what's the right word? Encourage entrepreneurship.
Right.
Back then, everyone was an entrepreneur.
Right.
Everyone was starting new businesses.
Yeah.
And right now, it feels like it's been stifled.
I always say to people, I think Chinese people are the best at entrepreneurship. I think they're the
market
best.
Economy way back when, thousands of years ago, they were the original market economists.
Yeah, you started to see it in Tang and Song dynasties. You really started to see it, where they cared about the merchants. Yeah, you can say it's too bad, but I always tell people it is a marathon, not a sprint. I do not think that. Xi Jinping's got a lot of people that don't like him. We can get into that in a little bit later.
Go to that later.
So anyway, the biggest differences though of China and Taiwan. So when you're in Taiwan this time, let's just talk about concrete. It could be as little as bleh. Biggest differences between China and Taiwan when you were there, because you were there.
Baseball.
Okay.
God, the Taiwanese love baseball.
They do, which you do too.
I love baseball, but they love baseball.
Let's get you closer.
They really love baseball.
There we go. That's much nicer.
I find that fascinating. But, the Chinese are starting to get into basketball, and so the Taiwanese, but baseball is still king.
We went to a Taiwanese basketball game.
Boy, they sucked.
We went to who? Do you remember the team? What was the team?
Don't tell me. Tigers, I think. Tigers?
It was the Leopards.
Oh, same thing. Tigers, Leopards.
It was the Taiwan Beer Leopards.
Taiwan Beer Leopards.
Here's my suggestion.
I drank a lot of Taiwan beer watching the Taiwan Beer Leopards.
Here's my suggestion. Just call them the Taiwan Beers.
No, that's
Just be the Taiwan Beers, dude. Don't run away from it. Because if your name is the Taiwan Beers, America, the Western Internet's going to pick up on it. They're going to think it's hilarious. You don't need to pay any money on foreign propaganda. Like memes are going to take off. Come on, the Taiwan Beers, the Leopards, the Taiwan Beer Leopards. Okay, but why didn't she be the drunk Leopards? How about that? Something like, come on.
I'll go with that.
I just think that basketball experience we had
was very funny.
It was interesting, and it made me think of something that I think our biggest criticism of Taiwan is, which is the capitalism, that market economy doesn't feel as entrenched in the culture as it is in America, which, by the way, is not necessarily a great thing. America obviously has too many things where it's like maybe too deep into capitalism. But if I am driven by trying to compete and make money for my franchise, first of all, I'm not using classroom lighting for the basketball game. The lighting, it's so bright.
Well, let me give an example. I agree with you saying. We went to a restaurant. It was a high-end mall. What's it? Tainan.
Tainan.
In Tainan.
Yes.
And it was like a German. There's supposed to be a German beer garden. Restaurant. And the waiters come out.
The waiters come out.
They come out with hats that look like a turkey. With turkey legs sticking
out. The collar, and then a turkey hat.
Turkey hat. Yes. I mean, it was the goofiest thing you've ever seen in your life, but it was hysterical.
It was funny.
And as soon as they came out, I think Betsy, my wife, and you, and we all said, "Can we buy one of those? Can we get one of those?" Because it was so bad. It was hysterical. We wanted to bring one back to America. They looked like we were nutcases.
The server looked at us. He goes,
"What?"
He goes, "What?
Yeah, the goofy hat you got on your head. I want to buy one of those.
You want this?
I'll pay you money for it."
No, we don't serve that. And we're like, okay, well,
and
then my mom get a cocktail?
Yeah, can my mom get a cocktail? She goes, okay. Comes back a couple minutes later, says that cocktail will take, 10 minutes? 10 minutes to make.
10 minutes.
I said, what? I said,
minutes.
You'd be fired in a nanosecond as a bartender in the States. But
in New York, Atlanta, any major city in America, you tell someone, yo, I like that cocktail choice you made. By the way, I'll be back in 10 minutes.
And by the way, liquor has the highest margin, and that's what capitalism is all about, margin, and making money. Liquor has the highest margin versus food. Right. So you'd make that cocktail like that, get it over there, and hope she wants another one.
So if you're running a restaurant, you are trying to sell as much liquor as fast as possible to make as much money as possible. So that is the goal, right? There's an incentive problem, it almost seems. Because honestly, I do think America's tipping culture has gone a little too far. But I do think that the tipping culture here does incentivize service to be top quality. I mean, top quality. The bartenders know your name. They're like, yo, I got your drink as soon as you walk in. Like, whatever.
I was a waiter for many years ago, and I tell you, if you do a good job, you walk away with a nice roll of cash in your pocket.
Right.
And that's what it's all about.
It's an incentive. It's an incentive. That was our criticism of Taiwan that you could say. By the way, if we're going back to the Taiwan drunk leopards, I mean the Taiwan beer leopards. My suggestion would be the light should not be on the audience. The audience should be a little darker, and the light should be on the stage, which is the basketball court. Why is everything the same fluorescent schooling lighting that I have in my elementary school? Come on.
Well, they're learning, Alex. Come on, give them a little time. They're learning on that.
They're learning.
They're learning.
But if we have to criticize Taiwan, that would be the one thing. Now, what would you say your favorite part about Taiwan was while we were there?
In Taipei, the hotel we stayed at was just gorgeous. God, what a wonderful hotel. That park nearby was really nice too. Mm-hmm. I enjoyed that. The people were great. What's that big green skyscraper? I love it.
Oh, yeah, the 101 that we went up.
101.
Yeah, the 101.
I love the 101.
Yeah. And what happened while we were up there? What happened? That was like the second day you guys were there, right? What happened? It was the first time that you ever saw in your life people go, can we please take a picture with your son?
Oh, yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah, I felt like I was walking around with a celebrity. The other aspect, the train system, the public transportation is fantastic. It's clean. I like China, but China was pretty rough at times. In front of your feet, Jesus God, some of that stuff. Cutting in front of you in line and all that stuff.
So that's, I think, the biggest difference is if you wait in line in Taiwan, it's like, okay, this clearly isn't China.
Yeah, clearly. I thought it was in Japan.
Remember, we were waiting in line to go into the trains, and it's like on the ground marked, and it's like a snake.
Yeah, snake.
Yeah, it's like a snake trail.
That would not happen in China.
And people respect it.
They respect it.
I don't know if it happened in New York.
And they didn't spit in front of you. Boom.
Yeah.
So that was great. And the people were friendly as heck. I mean, they're just wonderful people.
Yeah. Speaking of, we have some people that have asked some questions here. So first of all, Rain Flame Sky Lake. That's an interesting name. Rain Flame Sky Lake has become a member. Rain Flame, welcome. You're also a Messiah. Please look at the posts related to being a Messiah. Welcome very much. Thank you so much for joining. Andre says, here from, this is Love from Taiwan. Good morning, Lula and the father of Lula. Andre, thank you very much for your monetary support there and the love sent from Taiwan. And then here's Soul Lounger. Who donated $50.
Thank you.
And he said a few packs of beer for Mr. Farley.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, here, you're about to change your tone. But he said, thank you for making an amazing human being named Lula.
It's all his mother.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Hey, thank you so much, Soul, as well. We appreciate that.
Shay.
Yes,
Yes.
Yes, yeah, there you go. Yeah. All right, let's keep going. Let's move on. We're doing what brand of beer is that? Want to try if I can find, dude? The beer that we're drinking is always the beer I drink is Miller Lite. I would have asked Max to go to an Asian market in Boston to get some Taiwan beer, but I didn't want to do that because Max, I would have been embarrassed to do it.
Why? What's wrong with Taiwan beer?
Because I
drank
don't
it
know
over there.
if the Asian markets in Boston have it. So if you go there and you're already about to drive all the way here, I would have been very embarrassed.
Yeah, what about, I used to drink Qingdao.
Qingdao.
Qingdao beer?
Qingdao, yeah. I think it's German, though, even it's out of Qingdao, but I think it's
That was
German.
good beer.
Okay, let's keep moving on. All right. So this is a really important question that people will definitely want me to ask. Let's say I'm a professional CCP shill, okay, which means that I'm out here making a career saying there's no camps in Xinjiang. Okay, China had nothing to do with COVID. Xi Jinping's management of the economy is incredible. He doesn't look like Winnie the Pooh at all. Okay, I'm making a career off that. Okay, I'm online. You Google my name, and my name is attached to all these conspiracy theories, and I'm just whitewashing all of China's mistakes. But I'm making easily $500,000 a year. What are your thoughts? How would you feel about it?
Well, I'd ask you a question. Can you look at yourself in the mirror?
Okay, so what if I said, yeah, because I'm making a lot of money?
Well, send your father some of it.
Okay, and then what? You're not going to question my values at all? What do you think?
I'm going to question your values. That's not you. You're honest. You're straightforward. How could you live with yourself? I'm sorry you couldn't. And I'd be upset with you. I really would. I mean, money is important. I got all that.
Right.
But I couldn't imagine you living with yourself.
All right, what about the Farley family reunion? What if I'm at the Farley family reunion? And I am this kind of guy. What's happening to me at that reunion?
My family is brutal. They will rip you to shreds. They will push you and challenge you and ask you some tough questions, and they will cut through your bullshit like butter. And they wouldn't cut to the chase and say, Alex, is that really you?
Yeah.
Is it really you?
Right.
And you'd have to answer. If you don't answer it honestly, they'll realize that quickly. So I just don't see you doing that.
Yeah. So
the other reason
right.
is you knew China when it was great, when it was getting better and it was evolving and it was exciting and it was like I said, the Wild Wild West.
Right.
And now you see it differently and it's black and white. It literally is black and white. So for you to swallow that and say, I'm going to be what do you call it, a shrill?
A shill, yeah.
Shill? When you're going to be a shill, I don't see how you could live with yourself, frankly.
Because you're almost saying these people that have cared for me, that have like really
nurtured
me,
and a language that is beautiful, and all
right.
those what do you call those idioms you tell me all the time?
Yeah, all these idioms I tell you.
Which I love them.
The good horse doesn't eat the grass it's hardly walked upon.
I got to write these things down. They're fantastic. That's
right.
The history of China is so magnificent in those regards, and I hate to see you throw
so
that away.
It's not just throwing it away. You're almost not only betraying it, but you're using it for your own personal greed. It feels a little off.
Nails on a chalkboard.
So what do you think about the guys that do that? Okay.
I think they sold themselves to the devil. They sold their soul.
Here's the superpower they have. You know what the superpowers they have? They don't speak Chinese. A lot of them, or they do speak Chinese.
You think they're naive then?
But they can. So you can willfully live in ignorance. You can surround yourself with people that are only making you feel, because these guys, these CCP shills, okay, a lot of them, we call them white monkeys and stuff.
Yeah, right.
Okay, the people around them that are hyper nationalists, like they will tell them, you're brave, you're a hero, you're saving us, you're sticking up to Western media. That's what they always say, Western media. Can you define Western media? What is Western media? Come on.
God, I don't
Okay,
know.
so you're sticking up for us to Western media. Okay, so that is what these guys will get. So they're fueled.
They get reinforced.
They get reinforced. And they don't really speak good Chinese.
Well, I hate to say it, it sounds like Los Angeles. Oh,
Okay.
you're a really good actor, but actually you suck.
Okay, so what do you mean by that? So it's like you're surrounding yourself with people that just inflate your
They
ego.
inflate your ego and say you're great, you're doing a great job. And I imagine the Communist Party does that and say, thank you, you're doing a wonderful job for us. It's all for the good of mankind and all that other crap.
Right.
And I guess they swallow the medicine. You know, they drink the Kool-Aid.
Drink Kool-Aid.
It's too bad in a way because over time they probably start believing it. And that's what propaganda is all about. You can start believing it over time.
And then what happens when zero COVID policies come in? Oh, all of a sudden, all these guys, hey, my dad's got to get a surgery. I got to go back, guys. I'm so sorry. By the way, I'm not going to come back for 3 years. It's a complete coincidence, by the way, guys.
Just a coincidence.
I have to go back. And they're gone. They're gone. I always tell my audience, the Farley family, if I go to these reunions and I'm a CCP shill, I'm going to walk into the room, they'll be like, here comes the communists. Why don't you tell us how great of a leader Mao was?
Mao was. How many millions of people did he kill?
Yeah, what was it? Tell us what was the great leap forward, right? It was the great leap forward.
How was that agrarian economy? Oh, yeah, okay. Couldn't feed the people? Okay.
Right, okay, collective economies work great, right?
It really worked well.
Right.
Just like the one-kid policy. Ooh.
That one's starting to be...
Bite him. Ooh, it's going to bite him.
It's going to bite him in the bite him in the ass. So you know
ask Japan who had a negative birth rate for
I
a
know,
long
but the
time.
funniest thing is the Communist Party, forever has just been able to look at problems almost like an engineering mathematical equation and be like, okay, as long as we do this, then we can do this. But how do you get the young people to bang more?
If you have to have, God, what's wrong? That's biological drive for crying out loud.
How do you do it? How do you, if you're the Communist Party, you're Li Qiang, which is not my Li. My Li's unfortunately already dead, R.I.P. If you're the new premier, and you're trying to come up with a policy to get Chinese young people to bang each other more, how do you do it?
I'll do what the Americans did, and they give you a tax benefit.
Okay.
If you have a kid, you have a big, nice tax write-off.
They do have that, by the way. It's not working.
Oh, they do have it?
Next, what's next?
Oh,
What's next?
make the benefit bigger. I don't know what else. I mean, get rid of condoms, ban condoms. I don't know what else to tell you.
How far are we from Chinese Communist Party banning condoms? They would not ban condoms, but I think they would maybe ban birth control. And then they produce the condoms. Maybe they're now poking holes in them at an industrial level.
Oh, stop it.
At an industrial level. You laugh at it, but it is not that crazy. It's not that crazy. It's not that crazy.
There's got to be better ways. There's got.
You don't think the
okay, let me back up.
Okay,
First of all, you also have too many men and not enough women at that age. I mean, because they got rid of them. I hate to say it, but they wanted to have boys.
Right.
So I don't know what the ratio is now, but I imagine it's
you have
pretty high.
I think it's 130 million extra men.
Ooh, boy, that's tough.
Yeah, dude. If
That's
gay was
tough.
a choice, I tell you, the Communist Party would jump on that in a second.
Yeah, and women rule the world when it comes to sex. So let's be honest. with
Yeah,
ourselves.
exactly.
That's a tough one. I don't know what the answer is.
Yeah, so I think that's why. So that's why I love to do political satire with the Communist Party, because it's a challenge and it's kind of funny and it's also never that far from reality. Because it's like, yeah, you could make a good satire skit about birth control being discontinued or them poking holes in condom. But do you think the Communist Party is above that? I mean, come on. Come on.
If that's what it takes, I think they'll come up with some answer.
So I'll tell you the answer right now is they have a communist committee on women in reproductive rights. Unfortunately, if you look at the first row of that photo, there's not a single woman in it, which is the first time in like over 20 years that the Standing Politburo has not had a woman.
Are you surprised?
I am a little surprised because I feel like Xi Jinping, if he had any sliver of intelligence, he would just pick a woman just for appearances. Just like, come on.
I don't think he gives a shit. I hate to say it. I think he's so self-centered. I don't think he cares. I think that man is all about power, and he's going to do whatever it takes to hold on to it, whatever it takes.
Yeah.
And that's scary. That's a bit scary.
It is scary. It is scary. You think he's going after Taiwan?
You know, I people ask me that question a lot, and I will say this, and I mean this sincerely. Taiwan, in my opinion, is a democratically elected, wonderful country, booming economy, has all the microchips in the world, all that kind of stuff.
Semiconductors.
No way on the face of the earth, America as the police, theoretically the policeman or policewoman of the world, can allow a country like that to be overrun. Hong Kong is a classic example of what happened to Hong Kong. I used to love going to Hong Kong. It was always a beautiful, exciting, dynamic place. And now it's just, you could tell it's been gutted. And I cannot imagine us letting that happen to Taiwan. I mean, as an American, it would really upset me very big time.
That's why I just don't understand it when, like Trump comes out and says, you got to give us a protection fee. I'm like, dude, you sound like Tony Soprano.
Sounds like the mafia.
You sound like the mafia. And then you have Taiwanese Trump fans that come out and they're like, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense to me. That we have to put some money forth. It's like, dude, when America is selling arms to China, to Taiwan, it's like, do you think that we're just doing that out of charity?
No.
It's like,
no. But I don't want to be disrespectful to the Taiwanese people, but there's a little bit of sobriety that needs to happen there, in my opinion.
Yeah.
That I think, this guy, Xi Jinping, it's like a dictator always says, look over here when the economy's bad, point over to something else.
Right.
So you don't focus in on the fact that he's doing a terrible job with the economy.
Right.
And he's focusing in over there at Taiwan. And that's scary. I think the guy's real. So I think the Taiwanese people have to be much more aware of the possibility of that happening.
They have to take it seriously.
Yeah, take it seriously.
Yeah, so you have a problem here, and this will be the last thing we can talk about. So there has been the emergence of a third party in Taiwan, which is headed by this guy who right now is dealing with some major corruption charges. But this third party has really benefited off pretending like they could be the middle ground. Okay, they're not going to be the super pro-China party, but they're not going to be like the super, as they say, anti-China party, which is just the people that are trying to be very realistic about the threat of China. And the young people in Taiwan, when you ask them about that and you say China's threat is so serious, they will say, oh, I've grown up in this. Look, you don't understand. Yeah. I've grown up in this my whole life, and China has never done anything, okay? And it's like, what do you say to that?
Well, in their defense, and I'll be honest, back then, when I used to go there a lot, the idea of Taiwanese independence and Taiwanese raising the flags was very secondary. No one really cared about it because the economics of the two countries were so intertwined, and it was so important for them to work together. And it was working.
Yeah, it was working. It was working great.
They finally got the airfare to go from Taipei to Shanghai versus going through Hong Kong and all that crap they used to do. They were cutting down all that stuff, and it was, you could see it slowly but surely, it was like a seamless integration.
Right.
And it wasn't any of this, nationalism and any of that kind of crap was going on. It was all about economics and making it work between the countries. Now it's not the case, but back then I can understand where they were coming from because that's what no one really said. Oh, Taiwan first. It was like let's see how I can work this system so that the 1 + 1 = 3. China and Taiwan equals 3.
So it's like we both are benefiting.
We both are benefiting. At the time, everyone was benefiting. I love the fact they cut back. Remember the airfare? You had to go through other countries.
I don't. You got to explain it.
I did. When I went to Taipei, I had to go through. I couldn't go through Shanghai. I was in Shenzhen.
Okay.
Shenzhen. I could not go there. I had to go through Hong Kong. I had to take that stupid ferry across and to get an airport there. I mean, it's just so many. And I was in Shanghai, and I wanted to go. No, I had to go through another place to get to Taipei.
You couldn't just go direct.
You couldn't go direct, but that got knocked down, and people were doing direct flights, and you could see it was just coming together. It was a beautiful thing to experience, and maybe a lot of the Taiwanese people have that memory, and maybe that's where they're coming from.
Yeah, the young people, though, the thing that pisses me off about them is they're like, okay, fine. Can we stop talking about the China problem for a second? Can we talk about these other issues? And I don't want to say this, but a part of me is like, it almost feels like a great white shark is about to eat you. And you're like, yo, okay, fine. I see the great white shark. But dude, my bathing suit's way too tight. I mean, I'm getting a rash on my hips. Okay, have you not seen it? It's pretty serious.
Okay, I'm going to challenge you back here.
All right, go challenge.
I'm going to challenge you back.
Challenge.
In America, you got that same group worried about what, can I curse or not?
Yeah, of course.
What fucking pronoun to use, for Christ's sake. I mean, good God. Oh, well, you call me he, she, or bit, or it, or whatever the hell it is. And there's a lot of more important things going on in the country that need to focus on. And yet they're worried about a pronoun. So it's a lot of
I'll tell you,
Taiwanese.
So I think the commonality there is that if you're young, because you lack experience, but you also look at the ignorance of your elders and you can see it very clearly, you're susceptible to movements or ideas or philosophies that do not take any effort at all. But if you purport those views publicly, then you can get a feeling of, I'm doing something brave. I'm doing something righteous. I'm making changes, okay? I am getting on my family about the pronouns they use. It's like you are doing something that takes no effort that makes you feel like you're brave.
You're probably right.
You're brave.
It's sad to say you're probably right.
You're brave.
I sound like an old fart. In my generation, it was the Vietnam War. You burned your draft card. And you said, "I'm not going to go to this." I protested.
That is way different because that takes a lot of balls.
That takes a lot because you go to jail for
guts.
it.
That takes guts.
I hate to say it, Alex. I think the Taiwanese young is young across the globe. There's a lot of that naivety that goes on, and I think. But Taiwan, the stakes are so high. God, they're so high.
It's so high. That's what I say to people. It's unfortunate. It is unfortunate and it's unfair to be Taiwanese because you cannot afford a single mistake. It's like if you elect the wrong person once, you can't afford it. You just can't. And that's not fair. And nobody's trying to sit here and argue with you that life is fair. It's the unfortunate truth. And so what I tell people is, if the third party that emerged, that all these Taiwanese young people like, if they would have some balls and actually address the China issue with any sliver of sincerity, then maybe.
I'm going to challenge you. How do you address the China issue?
I'll tell you how. So this third party, which is called the TPP, I think, their China policy is this Ke Wenje, this guy Ke, Ke P, we call him. Mm-hmm. His China policy was, all right, I got this. We're going to call it the five mutuals, mutually understanding, mutual respect, mutual forgiveness, mutually all this stuff. And when I hear that, I'm like, do you think that the Communist Party gives a shit whether or not you understand them, whether or not you respect them, whether or not you forgive them? That means that the Communist Party is admitting to a mistake. Have they ever admitted to a mistake in their life, bro?
But are they trying to save face? Because you know better than I do how important saving face is.
Who's trying to save face?
Let the China save face when it comes to Taiwan. Taiwan now he's painting himself into such a corner.
Right.
Xi Jinping. Is there a way to have him save face? And maybe that mutual bullshit is one way to do it. I don't know.
He can't.
But
you're right. So you're right. Maybe the mutual bullshit is. Guess what, Dad? If you look up that mutual policy on the Chinese internet, you can already see the state-run media come out and be like, we don't need to forgive anybody. All right, we're not going to be forgiven. We didn't make a mistake, bro.
One answer I never understood, you have to help me this, is why China thinks Taiwan is part of them. I mean, the Japanese had it for a long time. And I don't see why they feel like Taiwan is such an integral part of their country or their culture.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
The biggest reason the Communist Party cares about it is because the Communist Party sells Chinese people on an idea, which is the Chinese nation as a race of people is not suitable for democracy. They're not suited for democracy.
That's an insult.
It is an insult. And the Taiwan is a living, breathing, succeeding example.
It's one of the best democracies of the world. So, now, democracy is a messy form of government, Alex. It's a tough form of government.
It is.
But if someone shows it works, like the Taiwanese have made it work.
Yeah.
Because they were pretty rough there, 30, 40 years ago.
Yeah.
It was more of a dictatorship.
Yeah, it was brutal.
But they have made that transformation beautifully. I mean, they're a poster child for that transformation from authoritarian to democracy. They've done a great job of it, and that was the exciting part of it over there. You could just feel the campaign and the the political energy. It was actually a lot of fun.
It was fun,
especially when they called you up there.
Yeah, he gave me a shout out. It's right here. I have it right here. I have the clip right here. You got ready?
Yeah.
That's the man.
Oh my God! Good for you, Alex. That fills me with pride.
Oh, somehow I did it. All right, thank you so much.
All right, am I done?
Stream. You did it. You did it. You want to say goodbye to the audience?
Mwah, mwah.
There you go.
See you, bud.
Thank you so much for coming.
All right.
Guys, thank you for coming. 谢谢大家来参加这一次的直播。我要再次强调，今天晚上我们这一次直播，如果你听不懂的话，你放心。我明天后天会剪出一个一个影片，然后我会从今天晚上的直播就挑选最精彩的片段，把它们剪成一个成品，然后我会印上中文的字幕，所以你们放心。I got your back, OK? I got your back. 我是乐乐法力，我们今天晚上的直播就到这儿啊，谢谢大家。Thanks guys very much， 谢谢所有的会员和 patrons 你们的支持啊，而且非常感谢所有捐款的人们。我们要不要看一眼？我们要不要看一眼乐乐法力的 GoFundMe？ 我们要不要看？我们要不要看？我们要不要一起在今天晚上的直播结束之前看一看？我自从我们上一次直播到现在，我没有再看。我们上一次直播，我们那个 GoFundMe 是有达到多少钱了？达到3500。我们现在就一起看吧 ，OK？ 我们要看吗？好，我们看，我们还是要看吧。OK，I'm not gonna look. Okay, let's do it.
What happened?
No, it's not over yet. I'm gonna look at the GoFundMe and see the status of it.
Oh, it's definitely over.
058. Oh，意思就是说，我今天晚上我发的那个视频还没有到4天，已经到5800。Yes. That's what it's about. Yes. 你们准备好吗？你准备好吗？乐乐法力将要成为全世界最大的游戏博主啊！你们准备好吗？太感谢你们了，太感谢大家 ，Wendy， 太感谢你，太感谢大家，真的太棒了，我真的没有想到。OK， 谢谢你们，太感谢你们了，太感谢你们了，我真的，我都感动的要流眼泪啊！太棒了，太棒了！Angle， 谢谢你啊，就2次的donate，谢谢你。不返工，玩游戏去了。不是，不是，大家跟我很熟悉的朋友们都已经知道。这个爷爷，如果你很好奇的话，你可以看上一次直播，我有详细的解释这个。谢谢你 ，Angel，I really appreciate it。谢谢大家，我们今天晚上的直播就现在结束啊，拜拜，拜拜，拜拜。